Hello, everyone. It's November the 16th on Thursday, and we've got a bunch of stuff to go over, and we'll go through it as quickly as we possibly can. But it's important stuff, so we're going to take our time and get it right. But joining us today, we have our Adjutant General Bill Crane is with us, and we have our Kanawha County Superintendent of Schools Tom Williams, and we have my Chief of Staff Brian Abraham. But yesterday, I declared a state of emergency in Kanawha County, and it's due to the gas, outage that we have going on in Charleston's west side. And I've activated the National Guard to assist with the necessary resources, and there's lots and lots and lots going on. And our superintendent of schools is going to talk, and I think my chief of staff Brian Abraham is going to talk now. So. Brian, you go ahead. I do want to say one thing, though, before you jump on is I've got to say just this, and I've had the opportunity to speak to, our vice president at Kanawha Gas and everything, and through that and everything, we had a great conversation. But with all that being said, here's what really came out of the conversation, and then I don't know how to say this any more bluntly than just this. We got to tell the truth. That's all there is to it. Now, we had a water line, a main, unbelievable high-pressure water line that blew apart in every way. And when it blew apart, it basically blew a hole in the gas line. When it blew a hole in the gas line, we had water and the gas all over the place for 46 miles of gas line. Now, really and truly, we can say what we want, but Mountaineer Gas has really stepped up. They've done an amazing job. They continue to do an amazing job. They have absolutely stepped up and said that they're going to bear the expense of all kinds of things, from going into people's homes to doing all kinds of work and everything. And literally, this is not their fault, not as I can see it. And that's why I've asked the PSC to launch a full-fledged investigation in regard to this entire matter, and lay at the feet where the responsibility really lies. And so, with all that being said, Brian, you can talk to us, and I'll come back after you talk, but after Tom Williams talks, and wrap this up some.
Thank you, Governor. I just really want to emphasize what the governor instills in all of us here in the administration to do. Anytime there is an issue, what does he say? We run to the fire. And this goes back to even before Jim Justice was governor. If you think about it, we had the floods in 2016 before we even came here. And here's a guy that opened the Greenbrier Hotel to the citizens of Greenbrier County. He opened the hotel to members of the Guard that needed to have a place to stay when they weren't doing the work. And to my knowledge, never charged a dime to anybody because that's the kind of person he is. When we had COVID, what happened? The same thing. He said, run to the fire. First responders got every resource they needed. We spared no expense. Anything the people of the state needed, he wanted to make sure we had. So immediately when he learned what's going on the west side of Charleston, and we started seeing the people call in and say this is starting to overwhelm the groups that we're trying to help out, he stepped in, declared the state of emergency, and wanted to help. So what we're doing right now, and you'll hear more detail from the National Guard and the school system, is the governor wanted us to help those community groups that are already there, that are providing the extra things that people need to get through this time, to help provide additional resources to those groups, to the medical facilities, to the community groups in the churches, those that are feeding and preparing meals. So we're working right now through our first responders and working with the school system. The governor stepped up and said give them whatever resources they need to make sure that the people down there have what they need. So that's what we're starting. You'll hear more about it today, later, as the governor goes down there to meet with the folks. But we also have General Crane and Superintendent Williams here to tell you more detail what we're doing. So thank you, and back to you, Governor.
Okay, Superintendent of Schools, Tom Williams. Tom, if you could talk to us now, please.
Sure. The good news is we just received word that we've been testing our equipment at Mary C. Snow Westside Elementary, and it is good to go for tomorrow. We'll be able to have school tomorrow for the students that attend there, and we're going to bring our preschool kids in as well. They normally don't attend school on Friday, but we're going to bring them in as well tomorrow. Also, at between 4 and 4:30 tomorrow, we're going to be handing out 3-day meal boxes that will have breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 days, for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, to families of students at Mary C. Snow Westside Elementary. And then on Tuesday, we'll be handing out a 7-day meal box that will again include breakfast, lunch, dinner, as milk as well, from Tuesday through Sunday. And that will be done from 11 to 12:30 on Tuesday. If folks have trouble getting there and they have a neighbor that can get there and pick it up for them, that will be done as well. So we just appreciate all the help from your office, Governor, and the mayor's office, as well as the WVDE. Superintendent Blatt has been very helpful, and we just appreciate everything you all are doing for our students and for the citizens on the west side of Charleston.
Okay, General, talk to us.
Hey, Governor, thank you. I just want to be clear that at the direction of the governor, we've been coordinating with state, local, and county officials, as well as the partners within the community, to ensure that we're providing the equipment and the help that the governor has directed us to provide. We've been leaning hard forward on that, and we've already made some deliveries of heaters over to the west side now, and also some water. We're going to continue to push supplies as the governor has told us to make sure that, the number one priority is to make sure that we're taking care of the citizens of West Virginia and the citizens of the west side as this disaster continues. And we want to make sure that we're there and providing what is needed within that community as it's coordinated with all the other entities that are providing the assistance.
Well, listen, everybody, I appreciate your kind words and everything, and all that's really good, but at the end of the day, we all try to pull the rope together, and we're all trying to do anything and everything we can do. And I go back to the Vice President, at Mountaineer Gas. I hope he won't mind me mentioning his name, but Moses Scaff, it was really, really great to talk with. I'm sure that they're continuing to do great work, and I just think the people at Mountaineer Gas have stepped up, and we ought to, I know it's easy to cast stones. We all want the gas to be back on, and everybody is trying to do any and everything we can do. But when you got 46 miles of gas lines full of water, it's surely a challenge. So nevertheless, we thank everybody, and I thank my chief of staff. I thank the great general and our superintendent Tom Williams and all those. But at the end of the day, it goes right back to my dad saying, "Don't confuse effort with accomplishment." Don't any of us confuse effort with accomplishment. Let's take care of our folks and do anything and everything we can possibly do. It's unfortunate what's happened, and sometimes life deals us some tough things, and we got to deal with it. And that's what we're trying to do. Let me switch to something else. It's our fall forest fire season and everything, and we're currently underway. And there's surely fires reported, that we all have seen, and I really truly believe that the folks in our forestry department continue to do an amazing job. It wasn't very long ago, and I don't know that we've ever experienced a fall that was as dry as this one was, for the last maybe 30 days. But I'm sure we have, but this one was incredibly dry. Well, if we go back a few decades ago, during this situation right now, we'd have had the whole woods on fire. We'd have had the whole state on fire. So with all that being said, it's an amazing work that our forestry folks do, and we appreciate everybody, but we really, really appreciate them. And right now, I want to switch to our volunteer fire departments. And gosh, I mean, what would we do without all these people? I mean, that's all there is to it. People that are stepping up and volunteering and trying to help communities over and over and over, and they do. Not only do they save all kinds of lives, but they help us in every way imaginable. But I think we've got 2 different funds where we had $3 million that we were getting out to these folks, and the first $3 million is on the way right now, and so all that's good stuff, and the second 3 will be right behind. I'm gonna share some infrastructure projects with you now, but I'm thrilled to be able to share some news regarding critical infrastructure projects in West Virginia, made possible through the congressionally directed spending. And the first one was at Midland Public Service District and everything in Randolph County. They're going to be receiving $2 million from the US EPA, and a non-federal match from our office made that a possibility of $500,000. There's the town of Oceana, and I think about, gosh, this little community, I've got a lot of closeness to this community because my grandparents on both sides of my family, my mom and dad on both sides, on both sides, lived within a rock's throw of Oceana. I spent a big part of my childhood, in the town of Oceana, and so Oceana is going to be receiving $1.4 million. Our match in our office was $361,000, and I salute everyone that's made that a reality for an Oceana sewage treatment plant. So that's really good stuff. And in Tucker County, the Canaan Valley Public Service District and everything is receiving $8 million from US EPA, and our office had to put up a match of $2 million to make that a reality. So good stuff happening in 3 different communities all across the state. I remind everybody that deer season is just a few days away now with a rifle. And so with all that being said, I want to first and foremost, tell you, I've been a hunter my entire life, and I can remember without any question, when deer season came in, you were just going to expect multiple fatalities. It happened every year almost, and from people crossing a fence with a firearm and it discharging, and we lose a life, or someone, losing their head and shooting, through the woods and everything, and what they think they're shooting at is a deer, and it happens to be another hunter. And so with all that being said, I caution everybody to really be careful. Really be careful. A high-powered rifle shoots a long ways, and you've got to be super careful. Our deer populations are so that you can enjoy this incredible state and the unbelievable nature and the unbelievable size of our deer herds. Calm down. Just calm down. Wear the blaze orange, and let's enjoy an incredible tradition, an incredible holiday, an incredible season, but let's really be careful. Let's please be super careful. One of the things that is being added, I think, this year is the ability to harvest 2 deer in the same day, provided your first harvest is an antlerless deer. Our DNR continues to do great work, but I just want to take the time to caution everybody, please be super careful. So nevertheless, take heed. There's also our big buck photo contest. We're calling on hunters to submit their photos of their big bucks that they're able to harvest and everything. And, this is the 3rd annual big buck photo contest, so send them in to us. First Lady Kathy Justice and I are inviting all West Virginians to join us in honoring our military and our first responders this holiday. We are asking you, and pay really close attention to this, we are asking you to share photos of your West Virginia heroes with us to display on 2 recognition trees. There will also be a 3rd recognition tree decorated by our Gold Star mothers and their families to pay tribute to those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice that we've lost. These are our heroes, and absolutely we want massive participation, and then we want you to join all of us, especially the First Lady, in this recognition over the holiday period. So thank you so much. Okay, we've got a couple of soccer teams that are knocking it out of the park in every way, and that's Marshall and WVU, and both of them are moving on in the NCAA tournament. Marshall is the #1 overall seed, and WVU the 5th overall seed. Both of them have phenomenal soccer teams. I mean, absolutely, without any question, a once-in-a-lifetime situation maybe for West Virginia, but we want the tradition to continue. I think Marshall beat WVU last go-round. WVU beat Marshall first go-round. Absolutely, with all in us and everything, we want to wish both teams the very, very, very best and what we're hopeful for. And I don't know how the seeding is, how it all works in the bracket, but what I would hope for is a Marshall WVU showdown in the finals for the national championship and the national runner-up. And if I had my way about it, I'd have them play to a tie. But nevertheless, and we can't, in some way, somehow, not be able to break the tie. So all that being said, congratulations to both schools, and just keep up the great work. You know, great work, and coaches, I'm sure, are putting in long hours and have worked really, really hard. But these athletes have really done it. So really, really proud of all of them as well. That's all I've got.
All right, thanks, Governor. Let's go to questions from the media. The first today from Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good morning still. Yeah, good morning, Governor and fellow reporters and staffers. Governor, a couple of weeks ago, as you may know, Manna Meal has shut down temporarily in Charleston, the big soup kitchen. It's been there, I think, 44 years, 2 meals a day for 44 years. They've been serving breakfast and lunch to those in need. They had to shut down temporarily. They're looking for a new location. They're also having, some issues trying to keep their pantry stocked. In addition to the hot food, they have a food pantry where people can go help. I'm just wondering if you think, just off the top of your head, if they might be eligible for some help from your Uncle Pose's fund that you set up to help food banks and food kitchens around the state keep their doors open and keep stocked. And I'm just wondering what your office can do to maybe lend them a helping hand.
No question in my book, that the fund is there to be able to do all kinds of stuff and everything. But the net of the whole thing is these folks are feeding the hungry, and that's what we want to do. And so we'll check into it, and there may very well be a way to move a few dollars over there and everything and help things out.
All right, thanks, Mark. Next, we'll go to Curtis Johnson with WSAZ.
Hey, sorry, I had to get unmuted there, Governor. Thank you so much for taking my question. Governor, this is the second time in just a few months that you and I have talked about infrastructure issues related to West Virginia American Water. First, we talked about faulty hydrants, and now claims that a water main break, as you said, caused a natural gas outage to 1,100 customers. All of this as West Virginia American seeks 2 bill increases, a cost that has doubled since 2005. This while customers also are paying among the highest rates in the country. So my question is, have you had any conversation with West Virginia American Water? What type of action would you like to see from the Public Service Commission? And how can the state ensure issues like faulty hydrants and this week's disaster do not result in even higher rates on consumers, to fix the issues and to potentially settle lawsuits related to the matter?
Curtis, let me tell you this, and here's honest goodness truth. You know me, I'm going to tell you to the very best of my abilities what I know is the truth. Too many times when folks are contacting, the water company, what is happening is the water company is saying, And here's their response. Well, we can't talk about that, or we don't have any comment on that because, that's a legal matter and everything, and right now we have no comment. And literally, what is happening, Curtis, you're dead on the money. It seems like their pricing has gone through the roof. Right behind all of that, we have a situation to where we had the fire hydrants, problems, and now, we've got this situation where clearly, for what we know right now, clearly, for what I know, this responsibility to this terrible gas outage is 100% the responsibility of the water company. Now, without any question, PSC needs to get into this in every way and come to an absolute resolution and put the responsibility right at the feet of those that are responsible. And for everything that I know, there's no question who's responsible in multiple situations. And you're exactly right. There's times when you and I debate things back and forth, but there's no question that our people ought not to be bearing the burden and paying for this in any way. But there's times, like I said, when you and I, debate things back and forth, and we surely may have a different view on it today. Without any question, we absolutely have the same view. And the responsibility does lie with the water company, and we should do something about it. And I'm trying with all in me, and I have directed our PSC to do a complete investigation, and that's what I expect them to do.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Next to Charles Young with WV News.
Yes, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, I just wanted to follow up on the 46 miles of flooded gas line aspect of this. Are there health, safety concerns or service interruption concerns for other parts of the state, not just the immediate area around where this happened?
Charles, I don't think so, but it's a worthy question. It's been asked upteen times, but from what I understand, this is really just to the west side of Charleston, and so but we'll continue to follow up. I do not think there's a health concern, throughout or safety concern throughout other areas of our state.
All right, thanks, Charles. Next to Brad McElhenney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Hi, everybody. Governor, last week you described a renewed effort to examine West Virginia's correction system. Your administration announced a newly launched internal investigation, but I'd like some clarity this week on whether the focus is on the question of documentation that seemed to go missing in the context of a lawsuit, or whether you envision a re-examination of the investigation led by Homeland Security that your administration directed earlier this year. Thank you.
Brian, let me do this. It's not that I'm dodging anything here. I want to, Brad, I want to make a comment on what you're saying because, it's like me to always try to take stuff as head on as I can. There is without question, and I have said it 15 times. There was without question, there had to be some fire if there's this much smoke. And that's why I kept sending people back and sending people back and sending people back again and again and again to try to get to the bottom of it and figure out what in the world was going wrong, and what is the problem and everything. Well, and then we found things from everything from people just saying, we don't have the records, and they do have the records. We have situations, that past people, that worked there and everything, or worked with the corrections people and everything, and they failed to do the job, and it even goes back to Brad. If you're super fair, it goes back to twice me sending up to the legislature and saying, for God's sakes, 11 guys, we've got vacancies upon vacancies upon vacancies with, our correctional officers, and we've got to be able to hire people. We have got to have some level of incentive pay or some level of something to be able to hire the people. So there's lots and lots and lots of folks dropping the ball along the way and everything, and I want to be the person that stands up and says, doesn't really matter to me. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care who's dropping the ball. We got to fix it. But with all that being said, I do want Brian Abraham to speak with you, because he can tell you from a standpoint of legal detail and stuff like that on stuff that I may miss here. So Brian, talk to us.
Thank you, Governor. Brad, we're continuing to review the situation. I will tell you that at the governor's direction, last week when he said he wanted us to look further into what had occurred, we did interview additional high-level personnel at the Department of Corrections. Some of the issues that are now discrepancies between what we believe we were told and what may have been reality on the ground appear to have hit in the commissioner's office and stopped there. So we're now trying to figure out where the disconnect was between the commissioner level and the cabinet secretary level, but it's apparent that there were some documents that made its way into the commissioner's office. We received unsigned copies, was what was possessed by the commissioner's office, although there is a belief that at some point those were signed, and we've been unable, at least from our initial interviews, to locate those. Much of the information that was provided to us was ultimately provided by our defense counsel that was hired from the outside and the insurance company. However, that I want to reiterate again, the issue that appears to be repeatedly misreported is that there was the destruction of grievance documents at the jail level. We still have no information that that's occurred. Those records were discovered down there and remain there at that facility and are now secure if at some point we needed those in the future. Why the state employees that testified as they did, that they didn't know where those records were and didn't understand why they had not been disclosed, that is still something that we have no understanding of why they made those explanations, because that information they provided the court was absolutely false. But again, the information that we've gained since the matters had been resolved and continues to be investigated, as there was some reports up to at least the commissioner level and people within the office of the commissioner, then commissioner at that time, Jividan, and that information, we have no belief that made it directly into the secretary's office. We're continuing to review that, and we'll do so until we get a concrete answer back to the governor.
All right, thank you, Brad. Governor, back to you.
Okay, I just, in review real quickly, please know that we'll, first of all, it's Thanksgiving. It's been a blessing, to tell you the truth, with this gas outage and everything that's happened down on the west side. What if it had been 8 degrees outside? And it could very well have been. We've been really blessed that the weather's not been terribly, terribly harsh. But, for all I know, and I try to pass accolades to the people, that are really making it happen. Moses Scaff, and Mountaineer Gas. We know it's difficult, and we know that there's maybe some folks, that are throwing rocks, but I'm not one of them. I'm one to say we appreciate all that you've done and all you continue to do. From the water company standpoint, we have absolutely got to get to the bottom of these issues, because they're causing great pain to a lot of people and everything. And we need to try as best we possibly can to cause as little pain as we possibly can and do good stuff. So all that being said, I really don't have anything else, in regard to corrections. And Brad, I always try to appreciate, everything that people come up with and everything. And we've had a real issue there, and we've had we've had folks do things that are not explainable, and at the same time, I'm not going to sit and say, oh, he said, she said, he said, she said, and we did all the great stuff here in the governor's office and everything. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, just this, that, no matter what we did, if we're not getting it done, that we need to continue to keep doing a whole lot more. So, and the last thing I would report is just this, is from the standpoint of any legislature that would want to tour any of our correctional facilities and everything, they don't need to make an appointment to go. If they want to go tomorrow, all they got to do is let us know. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen tomorrow. And so all that being said, I want people to have the opportunity to look. I want to be transparent in everything all along. I frankly don't know of anything we could have done, at the governor's office level, that would have made things different or made things better. When you send people and you depend on people and you say, you go and report back to us, and they report back to us, and they tell us a report and everything, and then whatever it may be, if it's inaccurate, I kept sending people back, and so at the end of the day, we're just going to stay at it until we absolutely get it right. So thank y'all so much.